Hello and welcome to www.luxurytolast.com and the Snob Test. In this clip here, we discuss the answers to the Snob Test and help people score points in this test. Now basically the Snob Test consists of 25 questions. Each question is worth 4 points depending on the amount of information you can provide on it. If you just have a basic correct answer, it's 1 or 2 points. More knowledge, 3 points. Really in-depth knowledge is 4 points. 1 point would be awarded if you merely knew the answer by fluke, and it relies on your honesty to grade your test properly. If you want to cheat and put the wrong answer in, well, fool yourself. This is a snob test for yourself. Okay, let's go through the answers. Question 1. What is a Patek Philippe? The answer to that is, a Patek Philippe is the number 1 regarded wristwatch in the world. It's the ultimate piece of horology, the ultimate wristwatch, and probably the most highly regarded wristwatch company in the world. Number 2. What is an Aga? Well, an Aga is a type of oven. It's a type of oven that uses gas and continually stays on. It is said that in British upper middle class society, one has not arrived until one has an Aga oven. Question 3. What is a Birkin? A Birkin is a product made by Hermes, the famous luxury leather goods maker, and it is a type of handbag which was designed by the famous actress Jane Birkin. Question 4. Name some famous customers of Vacheron and Constantin. Famous customers include Queen Elizabeth II, Napoleon, most of the high courts of royalty in Europe. Question 5. What is an Alza? An Alza is a Louis Vuitton suitcase which has a removable drawer inside it. Question 6. What is a Biston? A Biston is also a Louis Vuitton suitcase which looks very similar to the Alza, however it does not have the removable compartment inside it. So both Alza and Biston are hard case suitcases, and they're the epitome of style and luxury travel. Question 7. Who is Goard? Goard is the famous luxury goods maker who has been in existence 1 year longer than Louis Vuitton and is famous for luxury products including handbags, luggage, also as well as a range of pet accessories. Famous customers of Goard include Karl Lagerfeld. What is Hermes famous for? Hermes is famous for its leather products. Hermes was originally a saddle maker in leather, and the company then moved into luxury items, including famous products that Hermes has produced: the Kelly bag, the Birkin, not to mention Hermes' range of wristwatches and luxury silk scarves. Question 9. What is a pagoda? A pagoda is one of the most desirable forms of Mercedes-Benz that was ever made. The pagoda Mercedes came out in the early 60s and went until the early 70s. 3 variants of the pagoda: the 230 SL, the 250 SL, and the 280 SL. The pagoda is a type of roof which fits these vehicles and is removable. It's made of aluminium but is very heavy as it has a rear glass panel. A pagoda is a statement in style and luxury. Question 10. What is a Series 1 3.8? A Series 1 3.8 is probably one of the most beautiful sports cars ever produced. It's a Jaguar E-Type which came out in the early 60s, with the first variation of its engine was the 3.8 litre. Jaguar subsequently released a Series 2 and a Series 3, and unofficially there was a Series 1.5. The Series 1 was the only series which came with the 3.8. The Series 1 did change to a 4.2 litre six-cylinder engine later in its life, but many purists regard the 3.8 as the best engine package out of all the E-types. Question 10. What is an E33 series? Well, an E33 series was the epitome of yuppiedom in the 1980s. The E30 BMW came out in the early 80s and went until the early 90s. It was replaced in 91 by the E36 3 series. The E30 is probably the most famous BMW compact sports saloon that was ever been released besides the 2002. In the 80s, the BMW 3 Series was the ultimate car to have. Question 12. What did the Swiss government give Princess Elizabeth when she was coronated in 1953? The official gift of the Swiss government was a Vacheron and Constantin watch. Question 13. Who popularized the Alma? The Alma originally came out by Louis Vuitton in the 1930s as a travel bag. Coco Chanel herself saw this travel bag and wanted the size shrunken and made the bag into a handbag. It's been a Louis Vuitton classic ever since. What is the Holy Trinity in watchmaking circles? Well, it's not a form of Catholic birth control where you pull out at the last minute. The Holy Trinity in watchmaking circles comprises of 3 luxury brands. The brands are Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, and Vacheron and Constantin. These 3 watchmakers are considered the epitome of watchmaking, and out of those 3, Patek Philippe is considered the best watchmaker in the world. Obviously, out of those 3 brands, all their products are sensational. Question 15. Is Rolex considered the best watch in the world? Rolex makes a fantastic watch. However, it is not considered the best watch in the world amongst purists. Rolex is a fantastic brand and a true luxury icon. However, the Holy Trinity, which comprises of Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe, and Vacheron Constantin, are level 1 players. Underneath that there are the other 2 players, which are Lange and Breguet. Underneath those players are other players like Jaguar. In that same breadth, Rolex starts to emerge as a brand. So Rolex is certainly an excellent maker of wristwatches. However, they are not considered the best by a long shot. Question 16. What is a day-date president? A day-date president is a Rolex wristwatch made which features a day and a date. The day-date president is a men's watch. It was never available as a ladies' watch. A ladies' president is simply a date just with no day feature. The day-date president comprises of telling you the day, like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and the actual number of the date. The president itself is a style of bracelet. So the correct terminology, a day-date president, is a day-date Rolex watch with a president bracelet. Question 17. What is a president classier? A president classier is a product by Louis Vuitton. It's a type of men's briefcase. The president classier was invented and released in the market in the 1950s. And it was designed on the traditional Louis Vuitton hard-sided luggage, and it was a briefcase for the times. Question 18. What is a 600? A 600 is the world's greatest car, invented by Mercedes-Benz, which came out in the 60s and had a huge production life and lasted until the early 80s. The 600 was considered by many to be the world's greatest car. The 600 used an M100 engine, and it found flavour amongst many military dictators around the world, particularly in African and communist countries. The 600 is probably the greatest Mercedes to have ever been released. Question 19. what is a 246 Dino? A 246 Dino is a car that was released by Ferrari which used a V6 engine. The Dino 246 by Ferrari is probably one of the most beautiful modern Ferraris ever released. Although it was released as an economy model, its highly desired lines and style make it one of the most wanted Ferraris of all time. Question 20. What is a VS1 in G? Well, we are talking diamonds. A VS1 is the clarity grading of diamonds and G is the color grading of diamonds. What is a VS1 in G? I think it's a damn good diamond, to be honest with you. Question 21. What is a tank? I can only be talking about a Cartier tank watch, the iconic watch released by Cartier in the beginning of the 19th century. The Cartier tank is a design classic which has been copied by many makers, but only Cartier owns the true rights to use that name. The Cartier tank has had such fans like Jackie Onassis. The tank was also a watch which Jackie gave to her late husband, Mr. Kennedy. What is a W140? A W140 is a model designation of Mercedes S-Class. A W140 is the same style of Mercedes that Princess Diana unfortunately died in. A W140 was a car that was released after the W126 S-Class and was considered over-engineered and overdeveloped. Whilst the W140 has aged in modern times, it's still a magnificent car to drive and it's still such a beautiful vehicle. Question 23. Who are the Sterns? I can only be talking about the owners of Patek Philippe, the Stern family. The Stern family have owned Patek Philippe since the 1930s and have done a wonderful job in preserving the Patek Philippe name and developing the range. The Sterns are true gentlemen and they are revered by many people as being the people who turned Patek Philippe into the Rolls-Royce of wristwatches. What sort of handbrake does a modern Mercedes use? A modern Mercedes uses a foot-operated handbrake. Question 25. What does Queen Elizabeth II, Napoleon, and all the courts of Europe have in common? One thing, Vacheron and Constantine. They were all customers of Vacheron and Constantine. Thank you for answering the Snob Test. Each question here is worth 4 points. Please put your scores together. If you answered the question and made a guess and it just turned out to be right, award yourself 1 point. If you knew the answer but didn't know much fact about it, award 2 points. If you knew the answer in detail, award 3 points. And if you had an expert knowledge about the subject, award yourself 4 points. Please tally up your scores, and in the next clip, I'll reveal what the scores mean. Thank you very much for taking the Snob Test.